Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to the Welded Life YouTube channel. I'm your host, Welded Life. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see more content like this, also hit that like button. Now let's get right into our subject of the day. Well, guess what we're going to do today is we're going to take my country ass over here. We're going to do a Welded Reacts to a reaction. Because lately in the news, with as far as big hits, let's talk about, I think his name is Chris Anthony, Oliver Anthony Music is I think what he's on YouTube, Men North of Richmond. And I found, while watching all the reaction videos, I like watching reaction videos, I need something to listen to, a little background noise. I come across a very unique take on Mr. Anthony's music, and I thought we'd cover that today. And I may take a few notes, as a matter of fact. So we're going to take some notes on this, and we're going to get to the bottom and suss this out. I think the username on this YouTube channel here, it looks like Hasanabi Reacts. A new conservative jam, Richmond, parentheses, Richmond, not parentheses, North of Richmond. Hasanabi Reacts by Anthony Oliver. Even got the name wrong. Let's go ahead and look at this. I even got the name wrong. It's Oliver Anthony, and that's his grandfather. Oh, wonder what that means if he's titling his video incorrectly. So let's unmute this thing and let's let it rip and see what we can do here. How about
Hasanabi Corporate? I don't even know what that is. While we're on the conservatives doing music, let's cover this. Matt Walsh reposted this video from this weirdo. I don't know what's going on here, but here's the song.
Wait, from this weirdo. Wow, that's a great way to start off, showing that you're, I'm going to do a reaction video. I'm open and not biased. Okay, we have two red flags here. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and keep going.
The main reason, and Matt Walsh loved it, because, he's got to show, as a fascist, he can't exclusively on modern contemporary culture.
Well, okay. All right. Well, let's stop right there. Buzzword. Alert. All right. Let's go right into I think I may have prepared for this. It's almost like I did some research first. Fascist, i.e. fascism, often capitalized a political philosophy, movement, regime, such as fascisti, which is out of Italy, that exalts nation, often race above the individual, and stands for often, but not always, often race above the individual, not always, but stands for a centralized, autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of opinion, a tendency towards or actual exercise of strong autocratic dictatorial control. Okay, all right. Now we've got that definition on hand. Let's see. Well, let's look at the right wing, shall we, Hasanabi? I hope I'm saying that name right. I'm not trying to be, demeaning of his name. I'm not sure. I missed that in the opening bit there. Republicans, we generally, as a conservative Republican myself, I always usually welcome debate. I'm not good at it. I get too impassioned about what I believe. So I'd rather leave the debate to somebody who's more skilled at it. But, for the sake of argument here, yes, we do love a healthy debate. We'd like to hear what other people think. Doesn't mean we're going to agree, nor doesn't mean we're going to change our minds. We want clear, concise facts and logic. You always hear conservatives saying, facts don't care about your feelings. There's obviously a reason in that. But let's continue, shall we? Authoritarian rule. Well, we don't want authoritarian rule. In fact, it's the primary reason that there were many conservatives who were against the Fauci ouchie, the jibby jab, right? Okay, let's go on to the next one. Let's see where else Matt Walsh met. In a fascist nation, capitalism exists only under the boot of government control. So when people on the left argue that number 45, Mr. Trump, President Trump, they like to get after him. He removed all these regulations. He removed regulations, and capitalism went, rah! Well, that would be actually the opposite of what fascism is by the definition in Merriam-Webster, which would be the standard. That's where we get everything defined. That's the dictionary. In fact, you've just admitted that, in fact, Matt Walsh is not fascist. Huh. Wonder who wants to control our speech. Wonder who. Maybe we're not the problem, okay? In fact, yeah, let's get back. I'm not going to keep on going. Let's keep going.
He also has to show an alternative of what is the best version of what he's trying to sell.
Whoa. Slow your fucking roll there, Hasanabi. Hold on there, Wasabi. Wait, it's Hasanabi. Sorry, that was a mistake. Because you ain't spicy whatsoever. Your milk toast. Alternative version. You mean choice? Like, here's something over here to look at. What do you think? You mean not authoritarian or dictatorial? Oh, that's wrong, think. How dare you? You mean not fascist? Oh. So you've literally, once again, have defined Matt Walsh as not fascist. Presenting alternatives, presenting alternative points of view. Wow. Good job. And what else?
Best version of what he's trying to sell, like an example of what is good art, according to Matt Walsh.
Okay, well, good art. What is good art according to Matt Walsh? So you admit it's his opinion, and you don't like that he has an opinion that differs with yours. You just want him to get in lockstep with your way of thinking. Yeah, there you go. Way to not be a fascist there, Hasanabi. Good job. You're so after the fascists that I think you may have become one. Let's continue on.
Is some of my favorite types of conservative commentary because, like, they always are really bad. They're, like, following the Mumford and Sons aesthetic 10 to 12 years later.
Wait, Mumford and Sons. Okay. So they had this, like, kind of a new age, like a bluegrass with a new age feel. Like, you know, like it's got a newer feel to some old bluegrassy kind of, you know, they had, I think Mumford and Sons actually had somebody that played was that a dobro that he's playing? Yeah. They actually had that kind of sound to their music. The guy with the stand-up bass, and you know that kind of this the way he kind of projects that this dude projects that Mr. Anthony projects himself. Okay, so you get to shit on bluegrass music because like you can identify one band that reached popularity according to you 12 years ago, and by that same standard that you just listed about Matt Walsh, why should we care about your opinion? Once again, they are just opinions. That if somebody finds a song moving for the lyrics, shouldn't we just find it, you know, moving for the lyrics? Let's keep going.
Mumford and Sons is British. This guy's a genuine Appalachian. Why does everyone have to shit on rural people? I don't understand. Please don't shit on this guy. This song is not against trans people or whatever. Okay, let's listen to what he had to say.
People like you,
okay,
wish I could just wake up. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
All right, tell me what you got there. Show me what's your opinion. What's your opinion here, Hasanabi?
Know what you do.
Please don't shit on this man. Look at the other verse. I wish politicians would look out for minors and not just minors on an island somewhere.
Yeah.
Lord, we got folks on the street.
Yeah. Okay. Where's he gonna go with this? Oh, I got a feeling I know where he's going with this. But we'll just keep this little bit right here in mind. We'll just keep this phrase in mind because I'm
got nothing to eat and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground because all this damn country does is keep on kicking him down. Hey man, please don't shit on this guy. He's got some good ideas. It's against welfare queens despite farmers being the most subsidized American.
Okay, farmer subsidies.
Industry. I mean, he's not even a farmer. He very much, most likely, if he lives in Appalachia, which he seems to be living in Appalachia, he probably does not have a job. Like many people in that region don't have a job because.
Whoa! Let's stop right there. That's good. As a matter of fact, I think I went and looked up. Let's go say Welded. Go look up West Virginia unemployment rates. Welded did, and he did over a 10-year span. So, I mean, there's a huge spike here. We got to take that out of the equation because this is, you know, pandemic. You know, this is coming into the pandemic, full-blown pandemic, and then everything starts to open back up. So, consistently looking back, it looks like if you just go back over the years, it looks like running right around the 4. I mean, 2022. That's the exception, and the trail down in front of and in back of that. You're looking about 5%, 4 to 5%, really, honestly, and the value. Apart from that little spike there, 4 to 5%. Okay, well, sure. 4 to 5%, but isn't that what oatmeal for brains is toting up there in the White House? Oh yeah, that's right. Lowest unemployment ever. Well, a lot of it's because some people didn't come back in. They just dropped off of the workforce, and they're just decided, well, we're just gonna stay at home, because that shit happens too. But okay, I'll cite a source. So if they're running, a little higher than the average, you just put everybody in Appalachia in a box and said, none of you have jobs. You're all poor country folk. We'll come back to that, I'm sure. Way to label a whole group of people as unemployed. Next, you'll try to tell me that voter ID is racist because African Americans have a hard time getting IDs or driver's license. Right. Yeah. Let's get back to this turd. We gotta flush this turd.
They used to work in coal mines and no longer can work in coal mines because of automation, or because, woke liberalism has eviscerated the coal mining industry.
I agree. I unequivocally agree. Because as we recall on the campaign trail and on the stage for, what was it? A certain election that happened in 2020, as leading up to the election in 2020, we had a certain candidate who stood up there, was going to get rid of fossil fuels, just going to shut them down. Just going to shut them down. Yeah, so he put him out of work. Okay, yeah, good job. You agree with me. Woke liberalism fucked things up. Now, it wouldn't be quite so woke as perhaps instead of just bitching about the problem, you said, well, here's a solution. Let's get this implemented. Let's get some funding to this particular source of green energy that we can harvest in this particular area. Let's say West Virginia. Okay, let's harvest West Virginia for this renewable energy source, right? Okay, this renewable energy source, let's harvest that. And then what we'll do, as we're setting all this up before we, pull the rug out from people, out from under their feet, and let them fall. Let's get that in place and get the folks there in the region trained up so that they don't lose their fucking jobs and get pissed off. I don't think that would have been a bad plan. But when all you do is bitch and moan about these problems, you are in fact woke liberal. You are in fact woke liberal. And you're the problem. Yes, we all know that there's problems in the world. Yes, we're well aware. And if you have a solution for those problems, present it. If it's a real solution, not shut down oil, shut down petrol, and cementing your hands to the streets and trying to block traffic. Or even on a runway. They should have gave that guy a big dose of jet blast, by the way. That was my opinion. When the guy glued himself or cemented himself to the runway. If I were the pilot, I would have turned my plane so that my engines were facing him, and I would have fired up the jet blast. I used to work at a major delivery company. What can Brown do for you? Many moons ago, as working a small sorting area for small packages into bags where they get loaded onto the planes, and where my elevator come out from, I had to work up on what was called the mezzanine level of this particular facility. Come down off of there. If there were the way they had their jets taxi, they had a little automated, a little vehicle that would back the jet out, and then it would take off or move out to the runway to taxi out. And if you come down that elevator and they were taxiing out, you would oftentimes catch jet blast, which means all the little, on even on smooth concrete, you had little bits of gravel that would be thrown at you and you just get pelted with repeatedly. It was terrible. So yes, I think they should have turned that around. It stinks to high heavens. It's hard. It just hurts. But yeah. Let's continue on. At least we agree that woke liberalism is the problem here. Thank you.
Living in Alabama right now, and everyone here has a boner for this song. Let me pick up my banjo and cry because motherfuckers out here getting snapped. Yeah, bro, if you're that poor, okay, if you're a poor guy living in this region, how in the ever-loving are you shitting on other poor guys?
Okay. Let me start with, there is not a problem with having social programs, i.e. welfare, SNAP, food stamps, whatever you want to call it, whatever the program's called. But that's not what he says. He doesn't shit on welfare. He calls out a specific group of people. Those who are milking welfare. And I quote, milking welfare. While pointing out bad choices, young men putting themselves 6 feet in the ground. I think he's making a pew pew reference, perhaps. I don't know. So I mean, let's.
You're literally like, oh man, I hate the rich people defending pedophiles. Fine, on board with that message.
Okay, we agree on that. Good, we agree on that. On board with stopping child trafficking. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. If I'm not, I'm sorry, YouTube. I don't know what words what free speech is limited to here. I'm not endorsing it. I'm saying we shouldn't. So bear with me here. I mean, he did use the P word. Pedophile. You might want to go after him. So if that way, if this gets taken down from me, I will definitely make sure he gets taken down. It's all fair play here, buddy. Nothing personal.
That's good. And then immediately he's like, you know who's real bad? A different kind of poor guy.
Are you even listening to what the fuck this guy is saying? Hold on. Let me just let me see. Do I have? Yes. Let's go look at the lyrics. Let's go right to the source, okay? If you're gonna say shit, we need to go right to the source. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, dragging back home and drown my troubles away. Okay, selling my soul, working all day. Well, we've heard that. That's a common line in a lot of country songs. Work 16 hours, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Overtime hour for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, dragging back home and drown my trouble. Go home and have a fucking beer. I mean, seriously, what's the problem with that? Okay. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. Wish I could wake up and it not be true, but it is. So it's a struggle. He's talking about fucking struggle. We're all struggling. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Living in a new world with an old soul. I feel like that a lot of times. And that's what speaks to a lot of people. Where I grew up knowing. I've forgotten more than I know. About a lot of these things. All the old ways of living, how to canning, making jerky, how do you make leather? Can you make your own leather? Yes, Welded can make his own leather, believe it or not. I can go out, I can hunt a deer, I can take it home, skin it, treat the animal hide, and I can use every part of the deer. Ta-da! These rich men north of Richmond. Lord, they just all want to have total control. Yeah, it's called, we are continually, right now, when you go back to what the world's gotten to, yeah, we keep giving the rich men the power of control, want to know what you think, and they want to know what you do. Is that not talking about the this digital currency shit they're talking about? Because if that happens, they will know what you think through your purchases. Oh, wait, no, they know that through your cell phone, because they listen, and you magically have ads pop up for things you were talking about. Oh, and then we'll know what you do. So they'll know what you're doing with what you're buying, where you're shopping. And they can track you with your phone. Okay, we know that can happen. I mean, that's how murderers get caught. They triangulate the position of their cell phone. right? And that happened. Any crime scene people watch that murder porn, as they call it, where you go and they watch the murder shows all the time, and they don't think that you know, but I know that you do. Yeah, of course he knows that I know. We all know that they're doing it. And your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. Yeah. You need to... I could look it up, but I really don't want to. I think, and I'm going to quote roughly, I think the percentage tax rate that caused the Revolutionary War was like 4%. How much is... Our forefathers would shit an actual brick if they knew that most of us are taxed 28% or higher. They would shit a literal brick. But why does it happen? Because Richmond and north of Richmond. Note how there he never blames the obese milking welfare for the fact that your dollar's taxed to shit. The chorus is the theme of the song. Everything else is what he sees around it. Hasanabi, are you paying attention, sir? Are you actually paying attention? Because generally speaking, this is the structure of music. Your chorus is the whole theme of the song, okay? Are we on that? And your verses are what gets you from the first time you sing the chorus to the next time to the next time. That's what goes in between the choruses, okay? So you have your theme, and then you have elements that attach to the theme and how they attach to them. All right. So now we're back on page with that. Let's go ahead and look. I wish politicians would look out for minors and not just minors on an island somewhere. We know that's an Epstein reference. Ha ha ha. Lord, we got folks in the street got nothing to eat. Yeah, when there's obese milk and welfare. It's an absolute contradiction in life. He's not pointing out that they're a problem, but he's pointing out there's a problem here. This is a problem. He's not shitting on anybody. So I make my point. He's not shitting on anybody. Well, we got folks in the street ain't got nothing to eat. They're starving while fat people are milking welfare. Now, I'm a little chunky myself. I'm eating less, and I'm watching what I eat. I'm trying to be healthy. I've lost about 20 pounds as of lately. So, I'm not milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not pay for your bag of fudge rounds. If you are privileged enough to eat fudge rounds on the reg, okay? Fudge rounds on the reg. You're getting too much welfare. Like, if you're not scrimping and saving to get those fudge rounds and doing what you need to do. Now, there are places you can go to get free groceries. You can find these places. My son actually volunteered at one to hand out groceries. And then you have a little bit of extra money left over, or maybe you take it out of, like, you take your food stamps, and then you put some of your welfare, and if you're spending your welfare on them or whatever, that's fine. If you're spending your money wisely and you've got fudge rounds, I got no problem with that. But if you're 5'3" and 300 pounds, I see where he's coming from there, and you don't. But he's not shitting on you. He's just saying that there is a disparity in the welfare / food stamp system, the social program system, that you should be spending like there was there's one that you get when you have a child, that you're allowed to buy milk, cheese, certain meats, and certain things. There's certain things on a list that you're allowed to buy. Peanut butter, I think, is on there. Hey, peanut butter's delicious. I love peanut butter, right? That you get. You're not out there buying fucking double stuffed fucking Oreos, which I think is fair. Oreos, not good for a child. Vegetables, meats, dairy, wheat, all the stuff that's on the food pyramid that we're used to. That should be what you spend your money on for the child. And as well, you should be doing that for yourself. Trying to eat as healthy as you can. To be as healthy as you can. So that, you're not 5'3" and 300 pounds and suffering, your body's suffering from it. And, you're fat phobic. No, I'm not fat phobic. I'm fat myself. I know the strain that my weight has put on my body. I know, no bones about it. It puts a strain. Anyway, it's like he's not shitting on anybody. He's pointing out disparities and stuff. And that's how... Anyway, let's get back into it. Let's see what we got to say next.
I hate how poor I am and how the rich me over. But you know what I hate more than that? A different kind of poor guy. Poor guy
Not
down
what
the
he said.
street. How is this any different? I talk about this all the time, about like the most American thing you can do is be a fat guy and on a guy that's like slightly fatter than you, like Donald Trump does with Chris Christie. Okay, it's so funny that this is like the white Lizzo version of that, where he's like, oh man, I hate how fucking poor I am, but like other people that are also poor, those guys are the real problem. It's like, what do you mean? Everyone's shitting on this guy is so lame, low hanging fruit though. What's going on? Am I not allowed to just like joke? Am I not allowed to crack jokes now? What's happening? Do I have to always take Kentucky, Alabama, West Virginia guys with the kitty gloves? Is that what's happening? Let's hear it.
Selling my soul.
No, you are in fact allowed to speak your mind, but you might actually want to listen to what the song says. Maybe read the lyrics and go back. 'Cause I noticed some jumps in your video there, so you've clearly cut sections of your video out here as you recorded this live. And I don't know if this is Discord or what you were, Chatterino, whatever. I don't know what you're doing here. Chatterino. But you might want to listen to what he's saying before you just, go whole hog libtard on that. Because if you've done an ounce of research, you might understand that Mr. Anthony, I think it's Chris Anthony, I think is his actual name. Oliver Anthony, I know was his grandfather's name. He was on disability for an injury, and then went back to work. Was on disability for an injury for a while, and then went back to work. He's not shitting on those social programs. He's talking about those that are milking welfare. People who are on welfare are different from people who are milking welfare. So, and then if you,
Working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
It's funny because, like, let me tell you something, okay? It's funny because a lot of this stuff, like a lot of the criticism, especially when it comes to social safety nets, is always hilarious because the reality is there's always going to be...
Oh, wait. Here comes the reality. Reality check, everybody. Alert, alert. Welcome. Right, everybody get ready. Brace yourself for impact. Here comes reality alert. Holy shit.
A way for these people to survive, right? If there's no jobs, if there's nothing going on, they have to survive somehow. The government is not just going to let them die.
Tell me.
So instead, they basically let them barely live by allowing them to take advantage of a patchwork structure of like minor social welfare that barely lets them exist.
Oh, okay. Barely lets them exist. Well, hold on. I know a number of people who are, in fact, on social programs that truly need it due to disability, yada, yada. Some are very careful with their money, and they're fine. Now, they have all their basic needs met. They rarely have, unless they have some huge out-of-pocket kind of like oopsie-daisy, they're fine. And even when that happens, they do just fine. And there are ones who out there who are not being careful with their money. They're probably spending a lot of their check on bags of fudge rounds. Yeah, they suffer a bit and, quote, barely survive. Now, I know that the minimum, last I went looking around and researching, because I did, here, at least in the state of Kentucky, and I don't know what it is, if it varies from state to state. If you get on, let's say, Social Security disability, let's say you've been working or you haven't been working and you're a full-grown adult and you're not working and you just all of a sudden develop diarrhea of the brain, let's call it, right? Like, clearly this guy might be on, he might have disability for diarrhea of the brain. And you've got I know it has something to do with like how long you worked before you went on disability. I know there's a factor in there. Like, it's usually like $789 a month, which also means that you can live in Section 8 housing. Prorated, usually that stuff is prorated depending on where you go, or it's either prorated to a certain amount a month or it's free. And with that, you'd be able to secure, with that rent or whatever, you'd probably be able to get some food stamps. So if you're careful with your money, yes, you would be able to survive. Now, if you had worked, let's say, I think over the last 5 years prior to, and you develop something like, let's just use something that just comes up, narcolepsy, diarrhea of the brain. All of a sudden, this guy seems to have it, right? You've been working for 5 years, and let's say you were making $3,000 a month. I think, if memory serves me right, because like I said, I know people. You'll probably start out your route, and this is my information I remember from probably a few years ago. I know a guy who went on disability, he was working a salary job. I think he got about $1,200 a month. Now, he also got his medical, his Medicare and Medicaid and Medicare. So he had his medical taken care of. He didn't have any rent, because I know this guy, he owns his own house at the time. He had been working, so he'd already paid for his property. So he had $1,200. Even still, you could Section 8, so on and so forth, right? Okay. So, yeah. If you're careful with your money, you can make it easily.
So, how does that work? For a lot of people in areas
Tell
like
me how
this,
it works.
okay,
Tell me how it
does
works.
That work? It works in the same way that it does in cities, but especially so in places like this where there's just not a job.
Once again, we've been over the not the welfare numbers, the unemployment numbers there. They're on par with the rest of the fucking country. Maybe slightly higher, but the only reason they're as high as they would be even less if to quote another YouTuber, Sleepy Creepy Piss Pants Biden didn't, isn't currently trying to and seeking to shut down fossil fuels and kill the major industry in the area without having a replacement or an actual safety net that he was talking about in fucking place. I don't know, well, here's these other industries we're going to open up in your area to compensate for that. We'll give you fucking workplace training. We'll get you paid and get you in there, and whoop, you'll hit the ground running, shift from one slow to another, so we can shift out of fossil fuels into this other green energy here. And we've already tested it and proven that it works and that it's functioning. And you're not going to have blackouts like they did with those wind farms out in. Oh, but let's not talk about the wind farms that shut down in places that lost, power because of a strong frost, which I may be exaggerating. That I'm well aware.
Cost of living is already cheap. You already have a fucking house, right? For the most part. Then what do you?
Cost of living's cheap, but they're bitching but he said something about living on acreage. The dude said at a house. Maybe you should have done a little bit of research there, Hasanabi. Maybe you should have actually looked into this before you opened your stupid fucking diarrhea brain mouth. You fucking wilted head of cabbage. Mr. Anthony lives in a camper with a tarp for a fucking roof. He paid $750 for it off Craigslist. Best I can find as far as information to verify this. Okay, that's a house. How else are you going to make... how's this go?
You get disability. You're either on disability or some form of welfare, because how else are you going to make money?
Well, as long as it's not permanent disability, i.e., you're Stephen Hawking's, in a wheelchair, kind of permanent kind of thing, or what have you, maybe affecting you and unable to work. You can go back to work if you're able to. If you're not, then you have disability, right? Which we've already discussed those numbers. And there are other means of which you can make money on the side. They're called side hustles for a fucking reason. And some people are even entertaining enough that they can go on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. And this is assuming that you're not permanently disabled. There's part-time jobs. Okay, so get a part-time job. It sucks, but whatever. Anyway, let's.
So then turning around and hitting on that concept is, really frustrating. Song touched my soul, Jimbo. Yeah, I mean, he has a good...
And his viewers are just as bad as he is. Just as bad.
Good voice, okay? You become a streamer. Yeah, liberals are racist to white.
You become a streamer. Hey, you can, if you're entertaining enough and you're maybe well-read enough, or maybe if you're not well-read, maybe you're just entertaining. I mean, this guy's got obviously doing this. He's got on the bottom, he's got his Twitch, his YouTube, his Twitter, his Instagram, his TikTok. Obviously, he's making money off all these formats, and he's making so much money he can afford a Bernie Sanders cutout. Most of the stuff behind me, I found it, out junking, with the garage sales, yard sales, Salvation Army, Goodwill, that kind of thing. Not a whole lot of this back here is like new, like out of the box or anything. I think that comic book here on the wall here, the Captain America here, that's actually something I got as a Christmas present one year, because everybody knows I love Captain America. Oh God, I love the Captain. Yeah. Most everything else, some of it's Dollar Tree stuff. Yeah. Or like with my sponsor, which is, you can go look up, this is not really a sponsored ad or nothing. You can go look up Nitwit's Craft House on Facebook. She made me this little Captain America, what do they call them? I don't remember what they're called. She made me that, and I got a Fallout, the Fallout guy one as well. That was, stuff like that. I mean, it's not. But anyway, this guy.
White Americans.
Okay. I understand why he's still functioning. I figured it out. His nose is stopped up. That's why the diarrhea hadn't run out of his nose and his head caved in. Got it. I figured it out. Oh wait. Hassan is right. Okay.
Hassan is racist to white Americans. Yes. Not only am I a liberal, my name has 2 S's in it, but I also am racist to white Americans, even though I myself am a white American.
Yes. You are racist to white Americans. Everything you have just said, most everything you have said, I'll say most everything you have said thus far, has painted white people. Let me explain. Let me get serious with you for just a second. Everything you have just said, Mr. Hasanabi, has painted white people into a box of we are, or at least it's this grouping of them. I'm sure you made those exceptions, into a box of we're poor, stupid white people, we're conservatives, and we're all these little things that you've mentioned thus far. So typically American, to be fat and shitting on fat people. All these things you've done. But then you made this exception. Well, this white one over here, these white ones, they're good ones, These ones that are on the liberal side of things, because you're making the snarky remark, well, I'm a liberal. Oh. I used to work with a guy who was one of these supremacists that you are also just hot and bothered about trying to hunt down because everybody that's on the right has to be one of these. I actually knew one. Yeah. He even had like the SS tattoos on his back and a 2-word phrase involving skin tone and power on his back as a tattoo. It was very unsettling. Okay. And he said something similar to what you said, except for he replaced the word white with black. So yeah, you're racist. And before anybody in the comments goes, you have to be the race in power to be racist. Remember that white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people, Italian people, whatever, it doesn't matter. None of us are in power. The politicians are the ones in power. That's the whole fucking point. They got you looking at race war. It's a racism and race war and blah, blah, blah. While they're playing the classist route and dividing us by class. Divide the masses, the lessers, the middle class, the lower class, even, the lower upper class, the ones who keep them all fighting amongst themselves while they continue to push policy and shit that enforce more governmental control on you and everyone else. This is not a theory. This is not a theory. Look in Canada and look in Australia where they're arresting people. What was that in the UK? They arrested somebody for mean tweets. It was a homophobic, transphobic tweet. They disagreed with me, so I had them arrested. Okay. We could see that they disagree. Somebody disagrees with something, and you have them arrested. I wonder if there's anything like going on like that in the news presently. I'll wait right here. Anyway, let's transition back to this. See what else this jackass has to say.
Back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten.
Great song though.
For people like me, people like you, wish I could just wake.
You're white Turkish? Yes, bro. Look at me. Look at my fucking face. Look at how pasty my goddamn skin is.
It's because you sit in front of a computer all day doing just this very thing. I mean, look at me. I pull up a window from a window. Look how pale I just got. Yeah. Sitting in front of a computer screen with the white background of an internet browser. That'll do it to you. But anyway.
What do I do? Am I brown? Do you think I can do you think it wouldn't look weird if I was running around being like, I'm a person of color? Like, that's...
Why not? Elizabeth Warren run around claiming she was Native American when she ain't got a drop of Native American in her blood, as far as I know. But yet, according to my grandmother, and I've never gone for anything involved in this, like college wise or nothing. According to my grandmother, I'm 1/16 Cherokee. Didn't get Cherokee bumps in college for money, for Cherokee money for going to school. Because I think I miscalculated it at 1/32. I wasn't paying attention. Not that I would have anyway, but she claimed it. Why couldn't you? You actually just said you're Turkish. So, I mean, you're technically by the left standard. You're a BIPOC, or was it biracial or black, indigenous, person of color, or whatever it is, whatever the acronym's for. I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to be nice to you. If you're nice to me, I'm probably going to be nice to you. You're going to be a shithead or diarrhea brain? Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is.
But wait. Hold on. So you know you're Turkish, so you know your roots, you know your heritage, and you've probably received some kind of thinking in your mind from your parents that have influenced your life and development. But you're not racist against anybody. Your parents have never done anything that's influenced your decision and opinion of others. Although that's what we're seeing right now about a white person. Well, you're Turkish, which white, whatever, that's irrelevant. Race is an illusion anyway. But that's besides the point. Okay, a different group of people over here.
Living in the new world.
So I love that line.
Rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do.
I understand his sentiment, and I certainly care more about rural America than most people, but something is wrong when you're enjoying being propped up by Matt Walsh types and has created a rumble at Rumble's direction. This man lives on 90 acres outside of Richmond, VA. Comparable properties in the area are $2 million listings. I don't even...
Whoa! Okay, we hit the hot button. Okay. He's listening to he's
even personally think he has to be like dirt fucking poor. It's just that like there's a long and vibrant history of exactly this kind of voice, like what he's biting from. Okay, like a long.
Tell me about it. Oh yeah,
of content that he's like basically LARPing.
Yeah, he's LARPing from. Oh, I love it. I love you throwing that LARPing word in there for the young people. LARPing existed long before these Gen Zs and millennials. There were people LARPing many moons ago. Dingus. He's LARPing, so he's claiming to be poor when he's not. Brett Cooper did some research on this, and this is where I got a lot of my information. I went and double checked it. She did a fair assessment of the guy's situation, just looking at just strictly from that. I don't know how many acres, but according to what's been found about the guy, he still owes like $60,000. He's working a shit job for bullshit hours for bullshit pay. It's the whole point. He lives in a trailer, tarp for a roof. We've went over that, but okay, he's LARPing there, dingus. Keep going.
Biting from. that straight up identifies the problem and will attack the actual vectors of oppression. It's not new. This isn't like a new type of music or a new type of song. Plenty of examples of you know.
And well, I'm gonna cover the Matt Walsh bullshit propped up by Matt Walsh. Yeah, we're gonna cover that one right now because I actually saw this article from the New York Post, and to quote him, he was blasting Republicans. The man behind the number one blue collar anthem, Men North of Richmond, shared his thoughts about being brought up in the Republican presidential debate on Wednesday. It was funny seeing my song at that presidential debate. That's quote. Because I wrote that song about those people, you know. So for them to have to sit there and listen to that cracks me up. Said Anthony's and Martha McCollum said Anthony's lyrics speak of alienation, of deep frustration with the state government and his country. Okay. I mean, when you look at what this guy has said about it, this has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It's bigger than Joe Biden. Oh, like maybe a broader canopy of politicians behind the scenes. You might say it's deep, and up in there in the state house of Congress, the stately house of Congress. So it might be like a deep state. Not to say it's a conspiracy theorist, but if you don't believe that politicians get together and talk about shit on the sly about how they're going to stay in power and be in power and get reelected and stuff like that, you're foolish. If you don't think they look to other countries and talk to those politicians to barter for deals that will make them look better so that they can keep themselves in power just long enough to make sure they can lock themselves into that office and never have to leave, like Senator Strom Thurmond. I don't know if he ever got out of there, but I know he went for a long time run. He was a long running politician, as is our current potato in chief. I mean, commander in chief. I'm sorry, I don't know what I said. It just slipped out. I had a brain fart. The one thing that is bothering me is seeing people wrap politics up in this. I'm disappointed to see it. Like, it's aggravating seeing people on conservative news try to identify me with like I'm one of them. Yeah, okay. So he says he's not necessarily saying he's not conservative, but he's definitely says he says he's not making a political statement. He was showing disparity in the world, and he's over here like and all his little trolls are doing the same thing.
Where the direction with sung in this exact same style, with this same voice inflection.
You load 16
tons,
and what do you
the
get?
Anger at those who actually have caused their demise.
Oh, he's trying to redirect it. So he thinks he's such a genius over here. This diarrhea brain this stuffy nose diarrhea brain won't leak out of his nose because it's stopped up. Fucking fuck bucket here has decided that he's shitting on poor people because he hasn't bothered to listen to the song and read the lyrics. It's about disparity between the government and what it does to you and how it fucks you over with dollars taxed to no end, working bullshit hours for bullshit pay. That's businesses that don't pay you a fair wage, shitting on you. And you got people just fucking around milking welfare. He's not shitting on them. He's pointing out disparities in good Lord, it's getting possibly
rather
worse.
Than random people that are also just as poor as this guy claims to be. You know what I mean?
Actually is. Okay, so actually is that poor? Once again, he's not done his research, so he sounds even stupider the farther I go into this.
I don't think you know, but I know that you do.
What is the name of this guy? I need to find the lyrics. Oliver Anthony is an Appalachian country artist in the same vein as Tyler Childers and Zach Bryan. I mean, he's success. I mean, he will probably get very successful. He seemingly has that rural charisma. Weird question, but would you ever consider getting this guy on stream to chat about the issues he thinks about before Matt Walsh and his
Whoa, he's about to say something about Matt Walsh. Hold on.
Ilk get to him properly? I think Matt Walsh.
Wait a minute, before his ilk get to him properly. Wait a minute. We just went over that New York Post. Way to jump the gun there, buddy. You jumped the gun. he's gonna make it big. Oh, also jump the gun. If reportedly he's what I'm hearing, and we read articles and stuff. He's turned down record deals with at least one major label. So yeah, he didn't sell out. He's refusing to sell out. He's like, no.
Ilk have gotten
Way to drop
already.
the ball. Way to jump.
Read the lyrics of the song, okay? Rich Men of North Richmond is the name of the song.
And he can't even read it correct. Richmond of North Richmond. No, it's Rich Men North of Richmond. Rich Men North of Richmond. Yeah.
Song, I think. Wish I could just wake up and not be true, but it is.
But it is.
You're now political
it
slaves
is.
to a masterclass of politician that can never be charged, but his enemy will always be charged and never guilty. Living in the new world with an old soul, many people wish.
Yeah, sounds like what's happening like with a certain laptop, and sweetheart deals and shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jumping to the conclusions there.
To return to the simpler, more honest way of life fell out of place in modern society. These rich men of North Richmond,
North of finally. I think he finally says it right.
Richmond, DC.
DC.
Lord knows.
I think what it was, he caught it where it was just a second ago. Hold on, let me flash back just a little bit. He finally saw it said Washington, D.C. These are two variable explanations of the lyrics. D.C. And I always see it. Richmond, the VA was capital of slaves. And no. This secondary notation here is stupid.
They all just want to have total control. Want to know what you think? Want to know what you do? Dude.
What it is right here, this expression here that he's having, he's getting a slight bit of red pill. Not that this guy's being, like I said, but we looked at the article where he's like, he's pointing at these politicians. But when I say red pill, he's getting a different mind of thinking. He's got to face the fact of what this guy is actually saying about the disparities in this song, and has to face it. And he's like, oh, I can't help it. I got to put my head down because I kind of agree with it. And if I look at it, laugh at it too much, and smile at it too much, it might look like I actually agree with what he is saying. And I could not drift further. I don't want to get. I don't want to get canceled. Cancel culture will come to get me. My reign on all these platforms is tenuous at best. And here I am, small content creator, has no fucks to give. Can speak freely.
Always so fucking funny to see Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh post like this, knowing they would be scared to stop in a gas station from my rural hometown.
Okay, this is one of his little viewers running their mouth, and he's pulled out their comments to look at. And grew up in a rural town where the average people are everyone complains, but the majority of people are on it. No, that's not true. If you look at the unemployment rates, would not be the majority. 5% is not the fucking majority. So always so funny to see Ben Shapiro and something knowing that this would be they wouldn't stop at a gas station for my rural hometown. You know what? Despite what you may think, I've gone to places far more southern than Kentucky. And used to I tried to affect an accent so I didn't sound like I was quite so far from the South, so that people would hire me. They wouldn't think I was stupid. You start asking things like they're with a question at the end. You know what I mean? And it's like they look at you different because they think you're from California. That's an impersonation of a typical Californian thing. Does that way to speak? You try to speak without the accent. You try to hide your accent as best you can because you don't want people to drop your IQ points down because you have a little bit of a southern drawl. No. They're saying this like shit happens all the time in the South, in the country, in rural America. Horse shit. Most people in rural America don't give two fucks about what you're doing. As long as you ain't doing stupid shit, they don't care. Which is why you could reference the other song, Try That in a Small Town. As long as you ain't fucking around, your ratio of fuck around to find out stays at 0. No fucking around, no finding out. Ta-da! Solution. But this once again, this math is lost on diarrhea brain here.
Grew up in a rural town where average household income is $27K or something, and everyone complains about welfare and disability, but majority of people are on it. That's what I mean. It's like, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, because your dollar ain't, and it's taxed to no end, because of rich men north of Richmond. I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. That's bars. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. I live in Section 8 housing in Detroit. My haters will not come for me. I mean,
no, because nobody hates you because you're okay in Detroit. Well, first of all, if you're in Section 8 housing in Detroit, most likely you're dodging bullets just like Chicago and a lot of big cities. And it's not it's like, and that's not just a stereotype of Detroit, and Chicago and big cities. Yeah, but they don't talk about all. Like, I think who was it? I was listening to somebody on the radio that was reading off. It was Sean Hannity. Every weekend would read off the names of those who died in Chicago as a victim of random shootings and stuff. He did it for a long time, and I was like, wow. But okay. No, your haters are not coming for you. You have so many more haters than you realize. Anyway,
it doesn't matter where you
live. Just because somebody's just hating on you and talking shit doesn't mean they hate on you like, we're going to go get them. We're going to go get MHUD, whatever this username. I guess it's MHUD. We're going to go get them. We're going to go find them. We're going to dox them. We're going to go get them. No, nobody's doxing you. No. You're not libs of TikTok getting doxxed for just reposting videos of libs. So, yeah, there's that.
Reality is most of your haters or most haters online are haters because they don't go out in the real world at all.
Mister, I'm Turkish, but I'm so pale. Don't go out in the real world at all. Wonder what happens. I live under a welding hood, so not all of me stays completely pasty. If you were to see the regular light on me, my arms are much darker than my face because I live under a welding hood. So, and I wear long sleeves when I'm welding, so I don't get sunburnt from the UV light of welding. Lots of long sleeve shirts. I'm in the house. I'm usually wearing t-shirts, or if I'm mowing, I'll get sunburnt, and then I'll be miserable for a couple days.
They do not step foot outside. They.
Once again, he's with this whole like, your haters. They're all these people that just live in their mama's basement, and they're pasty and pale. Sound like liberals to me. I'm pasty and pale because I don't tan. I'm very Scottish and I don't tan. Some of these people that are living in these basements could probably tan. I can't at all. I've tried.
He died of chicken tendies that mommy brings them.
Wow, he's literally quoting every conservative out there talking about libs. It's funny.
And that's pretty much it. Because if they would walk outside and see the sunlight for the first time or have to interact with another human, they would perish. They would turn into a cloud of mist, pink mist, and dust. I love the, Lord, we got folks on the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and these obese milking welfare. Like, again, it hits on everything that I love, okay? I'm serious. I love this song. I love this song.
It's nice to admit you finally come to the conservative viewpoint of how what this song speaks to, and not let's trash it because it's clearly not a liberal agenda hit piece.
Because in many ways, this is the most American song. Why? Because not only is he like LARPing as a poor guy.
Oh, wait. He's about to get into something deep here. Oh, God, people. Hold on. Focus. He's about to drop a gem. I can feel it. He said LARPing, and I paused it just in the nick of time. Oh.
Guy shitting on other types of poor guys. Okay? Asking the government to help poor people, but also simultaneously shitting on other poor people that are getting help and the type of help that they're getting. And also shitting on fat people, but you're fat. It's like, what?
Oh. And exhale. So, let me get this straight, Hasanabi. So, what you're saying is, if I'm a poor person, let's take another situation. Let's just do some compare and contrast. If I was a poor person, let's say living in Detroit or Chicago or New York or Jersey or someplace, I know Jersey's not, and I know cities, states, whatever. I understand that. And I was living there in a place, and let's say an area that was an abundance of crime. I mean, like shootings, drug dealing, prostitution, robbery, muggings. And I go and I make music about that. Whether or not I'm involved in it or I'm actually a part of that, maybe I just walk through the area and I'm shitting on those people. That's a problem. I hope every rapper out there, I genuinely hope every rapper out there, that has lyrics that involve these topics, I hope you're paying attention to this guy, because he just took a big shit on your careers. Every bit of money you got singing about bling bling, bitches and hoes, and how you used to slang this and yayo and blah blah and all the other slang for drugs. He just shit on everything you did. But, yeah. Not that you weren't telling a story about what you were doing, or maybe you just were actually out of a trailer park in Detroit and you weren't actually living on the main streets or something. There was a rapper accused of that some time back as well. I think he enjoys Bud Light, but I digress.
What do you mean? What is happening? It's like writing a song. It's like writing a song about how, like, gingers have no soul with that fucking beard. You know what I mean? Them gingers, they have no soul. If I had my...
Well, if anybody's going to know if a ginger doesn't have a soul, I think it would be him, don't you think? Don't you think he would be the one to speak on the matter? Yeah? Don't you think he'd be the one to go, you know, as a ginger, I can tell you, we ain't got no souls.
Way they'd be hanging off the poles or something. It's like, why would you...
Well, second of all, that second line there, I'm glad I broke that out of there. Let me just rewind it just a couple seconds.
How, like, gingers have no soul with that fucking beard. You know what I mean? Them gingers, they have no soul. If I had my way, they'd be hanging off the poles. Or
that's not racist. Replace ginger with another word. Maybe you take the word ginger or something, and you do something with that. I don't know. But it's a very dangerous thing to say, sir. Why would you do this? It's dangerous. This is further proving that this dude has absolute fucking like mashed potatoes for brains. The sagging bag of rotting oatmeal in the White House. He may have an illegitimate child, and it may be this diarrhea brains, wilted head of cabbage looking. And I don't say that in reference to his hair. I say that his whole opinion is like wilted cabbage. I can't even.
Or something. It's like, why would you say that? You're ginger. Like, what? Why? Why are you saying?
Because you didn't listen to the lyrics. You didn't listen.
Saying that. This song is about rural consciousness, though. It's just about rural consciousness. Okay. But what does that mean? There's this idea where, like, if someone looks the part, fits the bill, and is like,
yeah.
I don't even have. First of all, let me just say something.
If someone looks the part and fits the bill, it's about to be a fucking gym. About to be a fucking gym here.
But that doesn't mean that, like, you can't, crack jokes about it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Especially
you can't crack jokes like I'm cracking jokes about you.
Points at least when I see, like I've mentioned 8 times so far, when a poor guy or someone who is LARPing as a poor guy is shitting on other poor guys.
Wow, he's just going back to that point. He's trying to hammer that point home like I've got this one point, and I'm going to hammer it home. He's just a poor guy shitting on poor guys. I've got this one thing down. I've got this mastered. Evidence is proving to the contrary, but I've got this one point. It's totally disproven. I love Obama. I would slob on his knob. I love Bernie Sanders. Please, Bernie, let me put my hands in your pockets. Please get yours out of mine, but put yours back in mine because that's where I'm at. Yeah.
It's just so frustrating. It is supposed to build up the other poor guys and instill class.
Okay, then are you shitting on blues music too? I'm like real actual blues musicians, B.B. King, the whole groups of blues musicians that sang songs like this, that were just singing the blues. It doesn't lift anybody up. What it does is unifies people under their common sadness. That's what blues music does. Or did you miss that? Once again, we know that he has no real intellect when it comes to music. Not that I'm some expert or pro, but we know that this jackass has absolutely no musical intellect. Now, I was going to be a music teacher. When I went to school, when I originally went to college I dropped out like a big dummy. I was going to go into to music education. So let me educate you once again on music. Music, for it to lift people up, doesn't necessarily lift them up. And all music has to be uplifting. Some of it's just something that you can be sad to and be upset with. And it makes you feel better because you've vented via listening to someone who feels the same way you do about a thing. You know, the thing. It doesn't have to be uplifting. Country, in a lot of ways, country, some of the older country is a lot like the blues in that respect. They sing about cold, hard truths of the world, of their lives, their experiences, and people relate to it, and they find it unifies them, and they feel better. They vent via listening to it. Like, I'm mad, so I go listen to angry music for a little while. And I rage. And then the angry death metals out of my head. I feel better. I've burned off the energy or whatever. I go, maybe punch a punching bag or something. And just work out and just burn the energy off or whatever.
As consciousness, rather than on a different kind of poor person. Having said all of that, there's also this idea that, like, possibly due to a tremendous amount of animosity from liberals towards, like, white people that are poor, country folk, people living in rural areas, right? That there's so much animosity towards, like, those people from bi-coastal liberals who are like, well, they voted for it, they should fucking perish or whatever, that people are hypersensitive to any kind of criticism.
Yeah, because the economy, despite what they tell you, fucking sucks right now. Inflation is on the rise, which means your dollar ain't worth shit, and it's taxed to no end. So not only are you taxed to no end, your dollar ain't worth shit anymore. So yes, people are hypersensitive on both sides. One, because you voted for it. The other, because they didn't want that inflation, but they got it fucking anyway. And so they're pissed about it. So yeah, there's a little bit of tension and animosity there. Yeah, genius way to take a perspective look at the plight of society today. Good job there.
That
what other genius gem you got for me?
Is receiving, okay, especially in this community. But, like, just because someone
don't say in this community, number one, because you don't know that this guy doesn't live in and you don't know that this guy lives in a camper with a tarp for a roof. So don't speak on the community he's in this community. You've not done any bit of research. You are running your mouth based on the lyrics of a song that you have clearly misheard and have interpreted incorrectly. But continue.
Is from this area, or someone is genuinely poor, or someone is, a working class person. It doesn't change the reality that they can't be a dumbass. Of course they can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we're watching you right now. Yeah. Yeah, you could absolutely mishear a song and have one little contrived idea that you think is absolutely the factoid of factoids about a song and be 100% totally full of fucking shit and have no idea what you're talking about. But go ahead. Keep on. Please make me famous, Hasanabi.
I mean, like, it's fine. Why do y'all only highlight Appalachia on some hogs then? Y'all, how's this guy LARPing? It's normal to own hundreds of acres in the country. Y'all are being real armchair.
Hundreds of acres. Hundreds. Now, I've heard 90. I don't know what the actual number is, but I know he owes $60,000 on it still. And if the going rate is about $9,500 per acre, he's living on probably about, I don't know, 6 acres, 7 acres, 10 acres, maybe more. Maybe he's paid a lot off of it on it, Maybe he's paid down half of it. I don't know. But he doesn't look like a guy who's, making millions, So yeah, but keep on down this road. I love it.
Leaders right now, I straight up said that even if he was actually a rich person, it still doesn't change the reality. I don't give a how big of a area that he lives in.
Look out for miners, and not just miners on an island somewhere. Folks in the street ain't got nothing.
I noticed he keeps avoiding the miners line. The play on words of miners is in, digging for coal, look out for miners, and not just miners on an island somewhere. the Epstein reference. He's just avoiding it completely because the left would come for him in his sleep, I think, if he acknowledged that there may be an issue and there may be a list that if a certain president were on it, i.e. from the right, it would already be out. But since there's no name like that on the list, they have to worry about who's on it. So they got to silence anybody that talks about it. I'm talking to you, left. Come get me if you feel the need. I'm...
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds.
You're making poor choices, horfing them things down. Yeah. Go ahead. Jim incoming.
I'm sorry. You're a f***ing buffoon if you hear this and you're like, bars. Okay, this is what the rural people feel like. Okay, well, they're f***ing stupid then.
Oh, he just grouped rural people together as a whole. That's like me saying city people are all such a thing or this thing or that thing. I'd be fucking crucified on social media for saying such. But it's like, once again, and this is just an observation. Let's take Rolly West, and I don't mean to bash on him because I love his content for the most part. He'll bash on Christians, but he won't do that same thing to Muslims. He won't talk about any of that. Why is that? Why? Because Christians will turn the other cheek and, run your mouth. That's fine, whatever. But the others, that necessarily won't happen necessarily on the other side. It may, I don't know. I know that there was a whole issue with a newspaper that published a picture, a cartoon, mind you, and that happened. So, yeah. Just an observation, not a statement of like, everybody like this is this, or everybody like that's that. I'm just saying, people, you're allowed to say things about the trans community on social media, but Christians, bash them. The Southerners, all fucking stupid. Fuck them. This is the mindset that you wonder why shit's divisive, because you're saying you can't say things about these groups of people, but we're going to run our mouth about whatever the fuck we want to. If you disagree with us, we're going to run our mouths about you. This is what. There's no debate there. It's like there's no equality there. There's no having a discussion. There's no everybody comes to the table, voices their opinions. They come to a great solution that works for everybody and fixes lots of problems. No, you have fucking canker sores like this piece of shit running their mouth, fucking, like from one side, and then like, I just don't know what the problem is. I just don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. Whoever
you're not sorry. Don't fucking say.
This is awesome, but
you're
not
dumb.
in the way that I guess some people would appreciate it. I find it awesome for a different reason. Taxes ought not.
I find it awesome because it's content, and I'm gonna get like a couple 100,000 views off this guy, and I'm gonna make money off this guy while he's turned down contracts for his record deals. But I'm making money off this guy and pushing false narratives and bullshit because I did absolutely zero research for this and. Hi, my name's Hasanabi, and I'm such a wonderful person for the bullshit I spew out of my mouth. Fucking I'm just so glad I have these tampons up my nose to keep it from all leaking out onto everything, from all the fucking diarrhea brains I've got going on right now. Jeez Louise, this guy's a piece of fucking work. Keep going.
To pay for your bags of fudge rounds? Like, what are you saying?
He's saying fat people like fat cakes, fat pills, fatty foods, fatty McFat. Or did you miss that part? If you are struggling to eat, shouldn't you eat good food for you that's healthy for you and not absolute fucking shit? Maybe like, I know how much a box of fudge rounds costs. There's like 8 in a box, I think. And it's like $2.50, $3 a box, something like that for 8 of them. Yeah, it's plenty cheap, but you eat one. Let's say you eat one for a meal, you're gonna be hungry again not much longer after, and it's sugar and like flour and it's garbage and high fructose, whatever. I don't know what all's in a fucking fudge round, but it's not healthy. It's not good for you. Not that I'm some super healthy individual. God knows I'm not. But maybe instead of like eating shit, maybe, just maybe, you should like think, let's put the fudge rounds down and maybe go spend that money on dairy, meat, veggies, which is expensive in and of itself. I mean, But you have to make better choices. You if you eat right and you, I'm not bashing on people who just eat fudge rounds, but if the struggle is there, there has to be a better choice. You have to make better choices in your life if you're going to climb out of problems. If you could, it's like the definition of insanity. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something to change. If you're going to eat shit food and you're going to bitch about shit health and shit situations, and you're not willing to change what you do, you're getting in your own fucking way. And the fact that he does not say this just fucking amazes me. Let's keep going.
You can't, on the one hand, be like, we need more government assistance for the poor, and then simultaneously be like, but not that kind of government.
Wait. Not that kind of. Okay, what was he going to say?
Assistance, no fudge rounds. What are you, Michael Bloomberg?
Oh, wait. But okay, let's see. Okay, let's go back to the lyrics. I'm still working all day. Let's go back to the fudge rounds comment. Let's see. Which politicians look out for minors, not just minors on an island somewhere. Okay, I got Lord and the folks in the street ain't got nothing to eat. And the obese milk and welfare. 5'3", 300 pounds, not pay for your bag of fudge rounds, but 6 feet in the ground. The country keeps on kicking them down. Huh. Nowhere in that entire verse, nor the rest of the lyrics, because honestly, I've read the lyrics. Nowhere in there, not once, not fucking once, does he say, we need this more government assistance, but not that. He does not say this. This is just proof that he is just gaslighting or straw man or what he's using some straw man argument, gaslighting, whatever the fuck it is that he's doing. What's one of the two? I can never remember the definitions between the two. What's the difference? But he's doing one or the other. But don't get your gaslighting too close to your straw man there, Hasanabi, because you will start a fire. And being as somebody who's capable of doing gas welding, I know a little bit about how fires get started. Okay, so trust and believe this welder knows what the fuck he's talking about. Look out for minors. That goes back to the not like crush the entire fossil fuels economy that you're fucking crushing by shutting shit down without replacements in place and a whole system in place to replace it so that everybody fucking still has jobs. But while they're, and maybe make sure that everybody has something to eat and not just, these obese milk and welfare. He says the milking welfare's whole thing is a comment about just people who milk the system. And not everybody's milking the system. I understand that. There are some out there who are. It's okay to mention that there are people out there milking welfare. He's just refers to the obese milking welfare. They're clearly making bad choices.
What the is this? You know who has this? You know who has this attitude? You know who is unironically trying to make policy around exactly what he's saying?
Mike Bloomberg. Okay. Quote. Okay. If you're gonna run your mouth, I'm gonna make a psychic guess here. He is not going to cite policy. He's just going to make claims. Let's see if I'm right.
Michael Bloomberg, who also was a Republican, by the way. Okay, so
all politicians make poor decisions when it comes to policy, not just Republicans. Conservatives too have been known to make shit policy. Republicans, Democrats, all of the above make shit policy. Or have you've missed that portion of it? Okay. A politician can be Democrat and still be a shitbag. They can also be decent. The same can be said of both sides. But you're so left-leaning you can't see that. But let's carry on with this. He's about to drop another gem, I'm just sure of it.
It's me with this bullshit. Also, he's on Short Kings, which I don't like either.
Damn country does.
It's not specifically fucking around with Short King. He's talking about the 5'3" comment, right? He's not specifically shitting on short people. He's talking about people who are proportionally overweight. If you're 5'3" and 300 pounds, like I'm 300 pounds, I'm down from 320, okay? But I'm like closer to 6 foot than to 5, okay? So the difference of what that looks like on me versus what it looks like on somebody who's 5'3" is football fields worth of difference. Okay.
Is keep on kicking them down.
His voice sounds like you. I think your brain is broken.
These rich men north of Richmond have total control.
See, what it is he's got all this extra in here. He's listened to it over and over again and getting people to react to it. And he says some stuff. He's edited it out of there because he knew he made a bad point, and he's edited it out so that he tries to look as good as he possibly can. See, this is all one take for me, okay? Everything I've said today, one take. See, you'll notice you can go look. There's not been a cut one. I'm not even cutting out the coughs in my video, okay? So let's enjoy it. I'm literally operating my OBS on the side. Let's do this. Give me another Jim. Give me a Jim.
Who does, I'll give you another example.
Give you an example, please.
With
Please.
The rich men of Richmond is that they care
You can't even say the title of the song correctly. They care about what? What do they care about?
about pedophilia and defending pedophilia more than they care about, like, uplifting poor people.
Yeah, he's not wrong about that.
But then targets welfare policies, turns around, and then
No, he targets people who exploit welfare policies. Once again, you've missed the whole point.
says the only thing that they're doing is
I will
they wanna
beat
know
this
what
dead
you
horse
think,
all
they wanna
day.
know what you do.
Yeah.
Lord knows that.
Yeah, they want to know what you think. They want to know what you do. They want to know what you think because that's why they're listening to you via your phone. We know this because we get. Man, I was just talking about the other day, and I got an ad popping up on Facebook. Oh my God, who knew? And then it's like, and then I come home with my phone. If I get on the Wi-Fi, then all of a sudden it's on a Roku or something in the house. It's like shit. Now I got to listen to those ads, and they're never good ads. They're always some bullshit. And know what you do? Yeah, that's the whole central banking system with the whole digital currency, which means that there's basically an infinite supply of currency. There's and it will be doled out or turned on or shut off based on whether you comply. There's these social credit scores that are popping up in other countries like China. It is in fact there, and then they're talking about it in other countries doing this. Yes, he's absolutely speaking truth. What is so wrong about him talking about these true things that exist? I've found that for the last several years that these conspiracy theorists are becoming conspiracy factists. These conspiracy theories have become conspiracy fact. Oh, the laptop, that's just Russian assassination. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, we knew. Well, the FBI. Well, we knew it was legit. But hey, keep your tinfoil hats on, folks. Don't get rushed into conclusions here. I mean, for fuck's sake, where is this guy living under a rock? I don't mean Iraq like the country, living under a. The turn of phrase I mean. Anyway,
they just want to have total control. But then he's in his perfect world. He dreams of a world where, like, he gets to dictate the terms of welfare.
Wow. You're putting words in his mouth? Congratulations. You're an absolute fucktard. Good job. Absolutely putting words. Nowhere in his lyrics does he ever say, Lord, let me make all the rules living in my world. Singing my fake LARPing songs. He never says any of that. He points out truths, stuff that pulls at heartstrings. He never does anything of what you're saying. You are totally out of source. You're off base completely. You fucking piece of trash.
Who gets it, and also what
you
they
are
can
wrong.
purchase with
You
it.
are wrong.
Is
yes, the government already does decide what you can make. WIC was what we were talking about earlier. WIC, WIC, WIC. If you are a mother with a newborn baby, even before the baby is born, you can get what's called WIC. I don't know if it's anywhere or just here in Kentucky. It's kind of like food stamps, but you get certain kinds of food with your WIC, like milk, eggs, peanut butter, cheese, things like there's commodities. Speaking of commodities, anybody when we're talking about what you get as the government's already done this kind of shit before. It used to be called government commodities, and my grandmother, because my family's not always been, we're not always like super wealthy. We're not super wealthy. Nobody in my family's like super rich. Actually, my grandfather's brother had a carpet business or something way on back when, and he made really good money, and he serviced like all of the state or something. I don't know, all of the state. He had a really good business, made really good for himself. But none of my family's been like, wealthy like on Bill Gates level or fucking any of that. No, we're not. Well, upper middle class at the best, and that's that. My grandfather's brother's line of the family, my side of the family. My grandfather was middle class, middle, or lower middle, but But my grandmother on my mother's side, for a time, she had what's called the government commodities. I think that's what it was called. I'm pretty sure. It's basically you got to go pick up your government cheese. You'll hear people make these jokes about government cheese because the shit never melted. It was just a brick of just fucking cheese. Now, you get a grilled cheese sandwich made with the stuff and you get it to melt. Oh my God, it was so good. She used to get commodities, powdered milk, peanut butter. You'd get, I think, some tuna or cans. Like there's like a can that says beef on it. It's just shredded beef in a can that they've canned. Pork, chicken in a can, commodities. They decided what you got to eat. So this guy, and there was nothing wrong with it. You need it, you get it. Okay. I'm not saying anything. I'm not talking about how what he's talking about. These things exist, and there are people out there that milk it. There's people out there that don't, that need it. And there's people out there who are starving because there are people out there milking it. Because there are people out there milking it, the government hand involved with guarding the purse strings has to be super tight, and they've already figured out their way in. And and I guess more people probably find their way onto the government dole than off of it. Whatever. But government already did at one point decide what you got to eat. It was called government commodities. Your government cheese, yes, and and I've tried it. It's actually really, really good. I used to enjoy it when Grandma had. I come over visit her, spend the weekend with her when my mom worked, or spend the evening with my grandma and my mom was working, single mom. Now my dad was in my life, but he worked too, and my mom had custody, so my dad was always there. But Grandma watched me, and you want something, she'd always wanted to try to feed you, and she grew up in the Great Depression era. She'd fix me some government cheese on some bread and make a grilled cheese sandwich out of it. Damn, it was good.
It's just, again, American
You're off base. You are off base. American consciousness is like, are you conscious, sir? Are you, Hasanabi, are you conscious, sir? I'm afraid you're living in some kind of vapid, acid-induced dream state of what is actually going on around you. I think you've been staring at the smiley face basketball behind you for far too long. I think you may have started. Did you name it Spalding? Does it answer your question, sir?
Now, a goal to not necessarily uplift anybody, really. Not even yourself, mind you. Okay, not even yourself, not even your neighbors, but instead to implement a level of control to the people that you feel are opposing you in the political process.
Did you literally just describe everything that Joe Biden and his administration and the Nancy Pelosi's and the Barack Obamas have been doing thus far since 2016, and the election went the way they didn't want it to go? If you think different than us, we will try to control your speech, and we will take you off of social media platforms. Has this guy been living literally under a big boulder somewhere? Are you Ken to Patrick Starr? Do you have a friend who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Do you have a friend who wears square pants and might be made of sponge? Are you kin to is your last name Hasanabi Starr? That's his name, Hasanabi Starr. That's what it is. That's it. I figured it out.
We don't even care about in healthcare. We don't care about any of that. We don't care about social safety nets.
No, but we're in there. Once again, cite your source where he says this. I'm still waiting for one source to be cited.
We only care about making sure we own the other side.
Yeah, that's literally what she did from 2016 on, as the net got tightened on people opposing leftist viewpoints. Yeah. And hey, people out there protesting, stop burning down that city. Buzzword insult, buzzword insult, buzzword insult. Yeah. Yeah, you did. You did. You're literally projecting at this point. But January 6th, they broke some windows and walked around. The Capitol still stands. Sorry, I said what I said. You don't like it. Don't fucking care. Nothing burnt, but I could show you videos of them, of the police lobbing riot control canisters in behind the crowd, and as the smoke pushes forward, having been in the military and having experienced what they call the gas chamber, because they take those components of a riot control gas that and then you hear them coughing, and they make you go in there and breathe it for a little bit so you understand what you're doing to people, and they make you breathe it in good and proper so you don't just hold your breath until you're out of there. And the people come forward, and come push up onto the stairs of the Capitol. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. I'm not even talking about. I'll have to go find the video maybe sometime in the future if anybody's interested of that. I have it somewhere. I was watching 4 live feeds that day, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And then they're like, "They're going to arrest people." I was like, "For what?" I watched like 4. I had 4 live feeds going on my computer at the same time, watching everything that went down. Oof. Anyway,
implementing the same level of control that I feel is being implemented on me by those, by the pedophiles.
This guy couldn't be more off base if he tried. Actually, I guess he could. Man, get this man a tinfoil hat. My God, get him a tinfoil hat. He needs one. Man, I will send you Hasanabi, let me tell you. I need you to reach out to me. Message me, man. Give me a mailing address or something like that. P.O. box, preferably, because I don't want to know where you live or nothing like that. Get me that address, and I want to send you. I want to personally cut as a welder and dealing with metal. And I want to personally make you your very own, because I make custom knives and stuff like that for people. I have in the past for other social content creators, TikTok and otherwise. But I want you to reach out to me. I want to make your very own tinfoil hat, because I think you need to join you're part of the crowd of what the blue anons. You'll just believe whatever you're told, and you'll regurgitate that shit like a dog eating its own vomit. You'll puke it up, eat it up, puke it up again. Just keep rinse, wash, repeat, rinse, wash, repeat. Keep going. Give me some more gems here.
On the other side. That's it.
And it's taxed to no end, cause the rich men north of Richmond.
That's another, why.
Careful, don't bob your head too much, or they'll know that you're really on the side of the conservatives. I think they might be onto you, Hasanabi. Lend me with another gem.
Wild part about the tax part is just like, what are you talking about? If you're
what he's talking about, the tax part, tax to no, and the dollars tax to no end, is how our forefathers of this great nation, went to war with Great Britain over a 4% tax, and now it's like 28% or higher, depending on where you fall in the bracket, in the tax brackets. So the tax code used to be 4%, and they went to fucking war over it, amongst other things. But they went to fucking war over it. Or you don't research, so okay, I get it. Okay, he hasn't researched this guy who's current history, current news, so he's not about to go research actual history of why the Revolutionary War took place. I'm seeing a pattern here. Okay, tell me something else that somebody told you to say about this guy, that you heard somebody utter about it maybe tell me something that MSNBC said.
Talking about are just like making no money. Well, they're, trust me, they're not getting taxed either.
Yeah, but they are taking tax dollars from people that could go to other things where people who need it, and they're not milking welfare. The whole point of the comment in the music.
Many respects, identical to what we watched yesterday from Erie, Pennsylvania, of the Trump rally that the More Perfect Union guy went to. And he talked to these people who were so close to getting it, right? But yet were so far away. Also, why does man have a tree blind where he records music? I mean, I think that...
Oh, we're about to get a gem. Ask about the tree blind.
It's a deliberate choice. He just I assume this is his own property where he
yes,
wants as well.
It's his own property, and he probably
target audience in the song. I love it. Also, there are no rich people who live.
He said it so many times that now his viewers are. He shouldn't know his target audience. No. When a man who plays the blues sings the blues. He's not shitting on the other people that relate to him. He's relating to them. Being relatable, I don't know if you know this, being relatable is how Trump won an election in 2016. Being relatable. Calling a spade, you know, like that little shovel thing, a spade. Yeah, calling a spade. So, give me more gems. Come on, more gems.
South Lamau. Anyway, I don't even know enough about the history of like bluegrass, folk. I just know that some of the major artists from.
Oh wait, I saw it. And I gotta go back. It's one of the comments on this. Okay, if you're gonna make comments in something like this, and you know that there'll be other people that are gonna call out bullshit. Brandon Unleashed. No, I'm sure that somebody's leased him out. I'm pretty sure Xi Jinping has paid for that lease. I ain't sorry. I said what I said. Fuck.
The history of like.
She meant Brandon Unleashed. Oh God, yeah. I'm cracking up over here. Unleashed. Kraken, unleash the Kraken, ha ha ha. That's
like
another more jokes.
Folk. I just know that some of the major artists from
Joe
prior generations that did like old forms of country were absolutely.
Would he go through? What? They're just trying to make. Look, if you're gonna make a joke like that, it's like, okay, if you're gonna make a joke even about Trump, I'm gonna laugh because it's funny. If it's funny. Everyone keeps bringing up Woody Guthrie, who originated "This Land Is Your Land." Also wrote the folk song about Trump's dad, and what a piece of shit he was. Okay, if you're gonna tell a joke, it needs to be a quick quip, in chats to get a laugh. It's too wordy. Most comedians, unless you're doing long form stand up comedy, and you're telling a story to get to a punchline, that don't work, and it's kind of like, It could have been funny. Like, I don't know, you could have made "This Land Is Your Land" and made some kind of, colonizer joke or something there. You could have, but Magpie 411, you aren't that quick. So,
the exact opposite side of guys like this, where
I just want to read his comments now. Excessive spam warning. As these people are just trying to. Hey there, hello. What do you want to know? Yeah, let's see what else we got. They would advocate
against the carceral state. They would talk about the history of like labor militarism, militant labor and its benefits, and cops and Pinkertons and whatever that was in their way that truly stopped them from achieving results that they wanted to.
I think I missed them. I think I stopped listening to the drivel running out of his mouth. I think the diarrhea of the brain's become diarrhea of the mouth. Look, folks, he wants to have an opinion about this guy. I'm completely okay with him having an opinion, running his mouth, this, that, and the other. I'm okay with it. Have your opinion, run your mouth. It's whatever. But what I want to say is that, he just needs to do his research. He jumped into this headlong thing about all this, and it's just completely off base. So, that being said, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to end this video as soon as I can get some things to go. Y'all have a blessed day. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. And I will hopefully see you on the next time I do a Welded Reacts. Y'all have a beautiful day.